Okay, here's the start for lesson 7. We're going to continue where we left off from 6 with the star field images. Let's go ahead and play where we were. Alright, so you should already have that part completed. And what we will be doing today is this part here. A 3D picture fall away. Some pictures coming across the screen. We'll stop there. Okay, so first thing we need to do is fix this star field. We had it moving up until that beat at 38. I'm going to actually extend the star field out to about 48 seconds because we're going to use it out through there. And I need to then move the keyframes so that the star field is still moving. So to make that happen, I'm going to select the star field and go up to Effects Controls. Now I could simply just move the keyframe, the second keyframe, to the end, and it should be good enough, but if it's not moving fast enough, I might want to adjust the second keyframe. No, I like the pace. Okay, so star field now moves through the time frame for underneath the pictures here that we're about to add. So I'm going to go ahead and get my first picture and put it in. And then I'm going to have a picture above that, and above that, and above that. I'm actually having a total of 5 pictures stacked up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing above that one. So I'm going to grab the next 4. Whoops. I grab the next 4, bring them in, and I can just stack them here. So to get more room to work in my video tracks, you can actually make the audio track less visible. Only need to see the one. Now I can position my pictures. To get tracks above, simply place the image there. It'll add the track. Remember, you can also right-click and add tracks that you need. Okay, so the pictures are now in. They're all going to go on for a little while at least. So let's go ahead and see what we were doing. So on that first lower is when we're going to be finished with everything. Meaning this picture, it's not completely out of the way, but it doesn't matter exactly how far you have it as long as you've taken it to the back. So here we go, let's try this. So the first image that you're going to use will actually appear at the base beat. So I'm going to make it start where these pictures end. Now I need to have it A, be positioned better, and then B, start moving backwards. So I'm going to click on the picture and first reposition it. I guess I can do that by taking all of these images and right-clicking on them to scale them all at the same time. Alright, that's better. But I think I want this first picture, the one we're going to start with, to be a little bit bigger to cover the screen. Okay. So now I need to take this picture up until the how low can you go part here. Right there on lower. By lower, I am going to be doing something completely different. I'm going to say 4621. Extend this picture out to that time frame. So now we've got the length of the picture in place. Now we can start the animation, which was a 3D tumble away. To do this, we're going to simply grab one of our effects from our effects panel. You can type it in. It's called Basic 3D. It's in the video effects folder. There it is. I'm going to drop that onto this image. So now that we get the basic 3D controllers, we can make the picture fall away in 3D. A little bit about the controllers. Obviously, every time you add something to a image or video, you will get a effects control in the effects control panel. So swivel would make the picture swivel like this. just flips it over. Control Z. Tilt, that's what we're going to use as a flipping as well. So we're going to make it essentially begin falling away. So to do this, we're going to have to set our first keyframe. We're going to be using tilt. So I'm going to set a keyframe for 0 at the stopwatch, move that to the beginning, and then as time goes on, I'd like it to begin to fall away. Have it fall backwards. Let's have it turn one full time as it goes. Right there you go. I'll move that to the end of the picture. Now to make it smaller, I could actually play with distance to center. That would actually work. For this, I'm just going to use my normal scale. So I'll set my keyframe for the scale that I'm at, move it over, and have the picture fade away. Now if these other pictures are in your way and they're bothering you for editing, you can simply turn off the eyeballs. That's weird. I've turned off the eyeballs, yet I can still see them. Let me minimize the program and bring it back. There we go. Okay, now I need to make this picture fall away. First keyframe was set for the size I have. It'll automatically make my second keyframe when I shrink it. I'm going to bring it down pretty small. Move the keyframe to the end. And now I've got this motion happening. Now that happened really quickly as far as the motion. So I want to delay this motion just a little bit so it holds through that beat with almost sounds like a horn. I'm going to say just a few frames. So I'm going to take that first keyframe for scale and move it over a few frames so that it holds. That wasn't much. I'm going to still do a little bit more. The other problem I'm having is how quickly it takes off. See, it takes off like a machine. So you can smooth this out. Any keyframe can have what's called an easy ease added to it. You can right click on it and add the easy ease either in or out. You can also click on the keyframe and go up to where is it? Clip project. There's a place to add an easy ease somewhere up here. Oh, it used to be up there. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to click on the keyframe. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to either ease in or ease out. This means it's based on the motion. I'm making it go from stopped to a motion. So that's easing out, heading out. If it comes in, that would be motion and then stopping, easing into a stop. So we're going to ease out, ease away. And it changes it to an hourglass. What it does is smooths off the acceleration so it doesn't go from 0 to 60 in like 1 second. It'll go to 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds, as it should. It's a gradual takeoff. Nothing in physics is automatic like that. I still think it's too close, so I'm going to move it some more. Oh, you know what? It's also the rotation that's bothering me. I'm going to move them both to the same place. I'm also going to ease this one out. Put them in the same spot. Let's go with, I think, this 3725. Back a little more. I think it should ease a little bit quicker than that. I'm going to go with 3719. Let's try that. There it goes. Alright, so that picture now will fall away through the entire duration that we set. Now I need to make these 4 pictures come in and then move across the screen. So I'm going to set them all up to essentially end at around the same time the star field ends. So I'm just going to lengthen them all. Now I have to come back here and decide this introduction staircase, who's first, second, third, fourth. I'm going to go ahead and turn the eyeballs back on so we can see those pictures. Okay, here we go. I don't know, I think right about here the first picture should come in about 3814. So the second picture in the stack above the star field, I'll bring that to here, and then we'll bring the other ones in, I don't know, at a somewhat rhythmic rate. I don't know, maybe every 5 frames. And every 15 frames. So 15 more frames would be 3915. 15 more frames would be 40. It's 4,000. 40 frames and 40 seconds and no frames. Alright, so they all are now going to appear fairly quickly after each other. Now they're going to animate in. So let's start with the first picture. Let's first make it the size we want and the position we want to start it from and have it come across the screen. And we'll do that with all pictures. So I'm going to take this picture first, select it, go up to the effects controls and open it up so I can work with its motion. It should be smaller first. Might be easier just to click on the word motion so I can grab it and manually do this. I'm going to start it out about that big. I'm going to start it up in this corner off screen. Now to get completely off screen, I'm going to have to change my screen zoom. I'm going to go to 25%. And now I can see that I can move it off a little bit more. You can go down to 10% and see really what we have for outside items coming into the screen. I'll stick with 25. Now I'm going to start the picture here at this position and this scale. Once you have it set, let's set our stopwatches to set the first keyframe and move those to the beginning. Alright, now as time comes on with this picture, we would like it to start to move across the screen and end up in a different spot in a different size. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to move it, which will automatically change its position, automatically making the next keyframe right there. And I'll make it a little bit larger as it goes across the screen, which makes the automatic keyframe there. So I'm going to select the keyframes and now move them across the picture to its end. Make sure it's at the end and see what it does. You can see it's floating across the screen and it will continue. So let's go to the next picture up and do the same thing, but start from one of the other corners. So this picture of me on a bike. I'm going to select it. I'm going to select motion, make it smaller, and I'm going to start this one from over here, just off screen, a little bit smaller. Okay, that's my starting position and scale. I'm going to set my keyframes and move it to the beginning. Further on down the line, I'd like this picture to move across the screen, so I will move it manually, which will set my keyframe automatically. Also make it a little bit larger. And my keyframes are automatic, so I will now take those and move them to the end. And now I have two pictures crossing each other. Alright, same thing with the other two, but I'll start them from the other corners. So the third picture, I'm going to take its motion, make it smaller. I will start it from over here in this corner, maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, and my size and position are set. Keyframes, move them to the beginning. As time goes on, I will now move it across, make it larger, and end it there. Whoops, I let go of it. There are my two new keyframes. Move them to the end. Make sure it's the end. Okay, last picture, same thing. last corner. I'm going to, again, first select the picture's motion, make it smaller. I will then start it from this corner. So now I have my scale and position set. Mark the keyframes. Move that to the beginning. As time goes on, let's move it across and make it a little bit larger again. Now we could have also added other animations like light rotations, which would have made the pictures sort of wave as they went by. But I wanted to keep this somewhat simple and not overwhelm you with too many things at the same time. Alright, take these last keyframes and move them to the end. Make sure it's the end. I'm going to now test it and see how it looks. Alright, now that's pretty good. Starting here, we're going to bring in some pictures matching his rhythmic singing or rapping. So lower than your lower than your lower than your lower. I got 4 pictures there with 4 lowers. At the next drum beat, we'll have that one solved. So let's grab those 4 pictures. So I'm going to grab my last picture for this folder, make it a little bit smaller, and then I need to get to another folder and keep grabbing pictures. I'll go to my high school, from me young to high school. I'll grab 3 more pictures and bring them in. Alright, now where they go is based on the lower than a, so let's go in and zoom in and find it. Alright, lower than low. Okay, so right about there. I'm going to go with 4708 is where I think he ends his first lower and starts his second lower. Let's see. Yep, I need the next one. Right about here. I'm going to take the next picture and drop it in right over the top and butt it up against the line. So there's 3. I think it's here. Right about there. Last picture. I didn't really need to cut that off. I could have just dropped this on it. And then I have to end this at that drum beat. Right there. Alright, so here's our lower than your lower than your lower than your lower. Of course, all of them are a little large. I need to rescale their size. I'm going to lasso them, just this track, so I can select the 4 of them. And I'm going to go ahead and scale to frame size. So you might notice I tucked these pictures in here. I could have put these pictures up top, but if I would have done that, they would have been over the top of the moving images, and I wanted them to actually continue to be over the new pictures, as you can see in the corners, instead of over the top of them. Now I'm going to actually make these bigger still, so I'm going to change their sizes to fill the screen. I'm going to position them just the way I want, so you do the same. First picture, second picture now. Alright, this one. So this is me, high school cross country. I actually was top 11 in the state on this race. I think that works. Maybe a little bigger. Alright, next one. A little bit bigger. Reposition it. Something like that. And the final image, just making them show what I'd like to be seen. Okay. So here's the first 4. Alright, so we go off and come back at the next lower. So right here, 4901, I need to add the next 4 pictures. I brought them all in at the same time. Now I'm just going to make them all fit the lowers. 49:18 for the second picture. About 50:05 for the next picture. Let me find that. And there, I'd say about 50:22. Final picture, and that's going to go away at the drum. And then we'll deal with this other area on the next video, but let's position these. So I'm going to take the first picture, I'm going to make it fit what I'd like it to show. Me in a shaving cream war my senior trip in high school. Here's me at one of my proms with a best friend from high school, Mark. There we are. This picture is me and a couple of good friends sitting in a study hall class, actually. And the final picture is one of my senior pictures. I guess that works. Alright, so let's see how this looks. Okay, we're ready for the fast part, but that's another lesson on nesting, which we'll do next time. So that ends lesson 7. I will sign off now.